Today, the lesson I'll be sharing and talking about is wanting to control. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Shery, and here I'll mostly be talking about the lessons I've experienced in my life and how tuning inward has always helped me and supported me in my journey of growth. There's a paradox behind control, which is like the more you try to control things, the more you feel things are slipping away. Like if you don't feel like things are slipping out of your hand, you will not have the need to control. And the more you try to resist yourself from letting go or surrendering, the more need you will have to want to control things. I have an example for you. Imagine you have sowed a seed and you also know what are the favorable conditions for it to grow. You have been watering the plant, and now it's been a week. You notice that there's no sign of the seed germinating, and now you're wondering that from all the information you've had, you know that this is the right time for the seed to germinate, and yet it hasn't. So now what do you do? Do you start panicking? Do you start feeling anxious? Do you start thinking that it was a bad idea to even sow the seed? Even though we think that we have control in the situation, we don't actually. There's always some percentage of uncertainty present in any given situation. And this example is here to remind you that no matter how well prepared you are for something, there is a possibility of something uncertain or out of the box to happen that never crossed your mind. And so, for all those people who feel anxious and who feel on edge when things are not in their control or are not going according to plan, this video is particularly for you. I want you to now think back at the time where you first felt out of control. It could be 5 years ago, it could be recently, like a week ago, it could be yesterday, or it could be 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But I really want you to close your eyes and consciously think of that first moment when you felt out of control. When you've got the memory, the moment, or the snapshot of that moment, I want you to observe who were the people around you. How were you feeling in your body at that moment? Was your stomach feeling tight? Or was your chest feeling tight? Did you have racing thoughts? What was the feeling like? And when you've got that feeling, I want you to come back to this very moment and notice whether that old feeling is similar to what you feel now when you feel out of control. For most of y'all, it is probably going to be same or more intense, because as we go on living life, the intensity of our feelings keep growing because now the incidences have been piling up, and the intensity always increases when we are not learning, when we are not pausing, and when we are not dealing with it. And if we are dealing with it, it is going to dissipate and the intensity will decrease. So now it's for you to see where you are at. Is the intensity of feeling anxious when you're losing control high or low? Because if it is low, then my dear, you're doing something right. But if it is high, it means there is something that you are just putting it under the rug. And or probably it has left such a mark on you that your mind never lets you become aware of it. Sorry. So now this is the moment for you to become aware of that one thing. Why would you want to be aware of something like this? There are consequences when you avoid your own feelings. You will not be aware of it until you start experiencing the triggers every now and then. That's when you feel like why things are going wrong with you. What if today, when you are seeing this video, it clicks and you think that probably there is something off and I need to become aware of it so that next time when I feel triggered, I'm in a better place to not react but to feel it and get through it. Every time we try to control things to get them to become favorable for us by force, these are the two effects that you're going to experience. Number one is that there's a false feeling that everything is in your favor. The second effect is that you have the authority. Now, to understand why do we seek control? Why do we feel unsafe or anxious when things are uncertain? So, as humans, we have a tendency to always keep thinking forward. We forget to be present in this moment, and we then fall into this habit of protecting ourselves from any danger in the future. And that's when we start controlling things. A simple example here would be that the child is crying loudly because they fell and they hurt their knee. And in this scenario, you can see that there is pain involved, physical pain involved. If the parent feels safe and is not trying to control the situation, they would be present with the child, communicate with the child in a way to understand and to make the child accept what is happening right now. Okay, so when the child says things like, I am hurt, it is hurting, there's a lot of pain, I fell, the child is becoming conscious of their actions, is becoming conscious of the present moment. And when they're communicating what has happened, their brain and body is already working towards easing the pain. And because the child is getting the opportunity to address the pain, the child is also processing the emotion of pain. And now, in the same situation, the parent is not in the present moment or is not mindful enough. They would be doing or action they'd be taking is tell the child why were they running fast that they fell. In that moment, the child would be confused. Their attention of processing their own pain and hurt would now shift to hearing their parent say that it was their mistake. The pain that has been caused to them was their mistake. In situations like this, when we don't process the feeling that we are feeling, what happens is we get distracted onto something else. And now that unprocessed feeling of the child stays with the child. So now next time the child falls, what they might do is they might not come to the parent and say that they are hurt. They hurt themselves. It's their responsibility. And because now it's their responsibility, growing up, there's a higher chance that they might also uh, become quiet as a person and not be able to share their pain with others. They will avoid every situation to feel pain. And now, if you're on the same track with me and understanding what I'm saying, that not only the child who has grown up is avoiding pain, and in order to avoid pain, they're trying to control situations so that they never have to be on the side of feeling that they made a mistake and hurt themselves. So if I don't want to make a mistake, I will avoid the situations for growth in life. The person is so afraid of making mistakes, they are not even choosing to grow, choosing to change, choosing to get hurt, choosing to feel pain. And then they become people who may be short tempered, who probably feel angry at small things when they don't happen according to their expectations. From the example that I gave, they are coming from a place of being hurt. In short, when we try to control things and we are the one who is feeling angry and upset, and anybody who suffers themselves is responsible to end their suffering. What would you do in this situation? Would you distance yourself from the people? If you do that, you are actually perpetuating the same cycle. Would you express your anger? Yes. To an extent, it's the right thing to do. Because when you express your anger, somewhere you are expressing your pain. But if it is unhealthy, like you are getting angry on people and you are blaming them for your suffering, that means you are still running away from the situation, from your own feelings. Accept that this is happening with you. If it is difficult for you to help yourself, ask for help from someone who you trust. You really don't need anybody to guide you or tell you what to do, but you need somebody to be present with you. It's like you ask someone calm to be with you so that they become your mirror, and with their calmness and their presence, you start being present with yourself. You'll notice that it'll become easier for you to open up about your feelings. While talking about your feelings, you may end up crying or you may end up expressing your anger. Once you have processed that feeling, once it's outside of your body, your mind, your mouth, you actually become the observer of that. And once you become the observer, that feeling has lost control over you. So this was my take on wanting to control things and where it stems from, and what are the possible reactions and actions that we take. If you resonate with this video and what I said, and there is something that clicked with you, you can leave a comment or directly message me on my Instagram. Thank you for listening to me today. Until next time.